Okay, so in today's video, I'm just going to run through a very quick introduction to n8n for those of you who aren't familiar with the platform. Now, n8n is a low-code platform and allows you to build out AI agents, workflows, and automations. Now, when I say it's low-code, I mean that you can build out most of these agents and workflows without ever needing to write any code at all yourself. So again, you don't need to be overly technical to use the platform. Now, that being said, it's not strictly no code. So there are times where using code can give you more flexibility in terms of what you're building. But again, don't want to let that put you off. You can still get a lot done. You can still build a lot of agents and workflows out on the platform without ever needing to write code. And if it is a case that you do need to use code for certain instances, you can use AI models such as ChatGPT or Claude to help with generating such lines of code. Now, in terms of pricing, what that looks like is, like most of these platforms, you can get billed annually, monthly. I usually recommend monthly. And then they have a starter plan and a pro plan. Now, for €24 per month, you get 2,500 workflow executions. Now, I'll explain what that means now shortly, and 5 active workflows. And then on the pro plan, €60 per month, 10,000 workflow executions and 15 active workflows. Now, again, play around with that. Now, let me just go in terms of pricing. Move myself out of the way here, myself up here. So in terms of pricing, as I said, n8n charges per execution. And what do I mean by execution is, unlike Mate.com, they charge per operation. So if you think about your workflow or you think about your process, your workflow that's made up of a series of actions, with Mate.com, you charge per action. So anytime an action is completed, as part of that process, that's what you're charged on. That's what their operations are. Where with n8n, you're charged per executed workflow. So the execution is the workflow. So anytime that workflow is completed or it's executed, that's what execution is. That's what you're being charged for. So let's say, for example, you have a workflow that is made up of 2 actions. And then let's say you have a workflow that's made up of 15, 20 steps. You're still getting charged per execution, per workflow. So that's just to differentiate the two. Now, in terms of pricing, a key point to note is that you can set up self-hosting with n8n. So n8n allows you to self-host. And that just means instead of using their cloud, you can run n8n on your own server and you can run it locally as well. So what I would recommend, and most people just get set up on their cloud, it's a lot easier to set up. Now, if you are a bit more technical, then of course you can always get set up and self-host. Now, what are the benefits of self-hosting? Self-hosting is a lot cheaper from a cost perspective. So you can run this all at a very, very low cost, in some cases even at no cost. It also allows for greater data security. Now, that's not to say if you're running on the n8n cloud that it's not secure from a data privacy perspective. It absolutely is. But by self-hosting it, you have that full security and ownership of your data as well. As I said, what I'm going to be running through is through n8n's on cloud setup yourself. So if you sign up for the platform and you sign up on one of the plans that I went through, you would be using their n8n's cloud, which again, I'd recommend that. Let's say there's updates to the platform, that's all updated on your side. Now, in terms of the different platforms and different solutions that you can use to build out workflows, you have, as I mentioned, you have n8n, Make, Zapier. Why would you use n8n over Make? Why would you use Make over Zapier? Or why would you use Zapier over the other two, for example? If you're just starting out and you want something super basic, super easy, Zapier is fine. So Zapier is just, it's less flexible. It's also a bit more expensive to run, especially at scale, than the other two platforms. In terms of Mate.com, so Mate gives you a lot more flexibility than Zapier when building out workflows. And it's a lot more cost effective, again, to run at scale over Zapier. And then in terms of n8n, so n8n is a lot more flexible than the two solutions there. And it's what we prefer building out when it comes to AI agents. So at the moment, again, it could change. n8n is our preferred platform out there. when it comes to building out AI agents, and especially more advanced workflows that require elements of coding to it to allow for more flexibility. Now that's an overview. And next up, I'm going to dive right into the platform and show you what that looks like.